Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race C Race and Strategy Guide. Once again we're off to one of PD's favourites, and that is Group 2 at Autopolis Full Course. Bit of a strange choice to be fair, given that we are also visiting this track in the Group 3 cars for the Manufacturers Championship, and given the kind of famous tracks that we've never ever visited in Group 2, either in GT7 or in GT Sport in terms of daily race C, like the Nürburgring or Interlagos. It's a little bit of a shame that once again we are visiting Autopolis. But we've got 12 laps to get round, we've got tyre wear at times 4, fuel at times 2, spot the typo. We have the soft and the medium tyres available, both of which are going to be mandatory. BOP is on, damage is light, it's a rolling start, and slipstream is real. So Group 2 is obviously a little bit of a mixed bag when it comes to car choice, and all of them are going to be available, but given the nature of the track, with it being tight and twisty and requiring a lot of downforce, then the cars that are going to be the best around here are going to be the free 2016 cars. The 2008 cars are going to be around about a second off them, and then you've got the McLaren and the CLK probably around about 2 to 3 seconds off the pace. It's high time that PD separated these cars into separate categories. Out of the 2016 cars, I tried all 3 of them. I found them all to be very similar in terms of performance, but they do all have their own kind of handling characteristics, which is nice. Most people will go for the GTR, always tends to be the car that people levitate towards. I'm going to test the Lexus in this video just to be a little bit different, and also I do think this car is the best on tyre wear, and given this race is pretty tough on the tyres, I do expect the Lexus to be pretty competitive in race trim. So let's take a look at the soft tyres. We'll take a look at how many laps I think you're going to get out of them, and it's around about 6 laps if you are on the wheel and you are pushing. Now that will become more relevant in just a wee minute. But yeah, 6 laps if you're on the wheel and pushing. You will suffer some pretty severe degradation. After about 4 laps you will notice the performance of the tyres dropping off quite rapidly by around about a second, certainly by lap 6. So it is soft tyres, we are at times 4 tyre wear, but it is a tight and twisted track. There's a lot of corners in there, a lot of stress getting put on the tyres. So 6 laps is what you're kind of looking at to get from the soft tyres before you're going to be looking to make a pit stop. Now, the pit lane at Autopolis is very tricky. Do be very careful. Make sure you have committed to the pit stop as you exit the last corner. The pit lane is on the left hand side. If you're on the right hand side of the track and you make a late call to go for that pit stop, then there's a good chance you're going to cross the white line and pick up a 3-second penalty. You will see some people in the barrier at the pit lane at Autopolis, and you will have to laugh because it is just not very difficult not to laugh at somebody making a mess of the pit lane. But as you emerge from the pit lane, no real worries about the white line. Do be careful of cars coming down the start finish straight. You will be kind of going into turn 1 at very different speeds. It's around about a 17-second loss for your pit loss, and our fuel is no issue whatsoever. So let's take a look at these medium tyres. We did 6 laps on the soft tyres, we're going to do 6 laps on the medium tyres as well. In terms of performance, a fresh set of mediums are around about a second to 1.2 seconds slower than a fresh set of soft tyres. What was quite interesting is that our medium tyre pace was around about the same as our kind of soft tyre pace once the tyres are kind of worn out. So if you look at lap 4, lap 5 there, we're kind of doing mid 1 minute 36s, high 1 minute 36s. That's very similar to the lap times we are initially doing on the medium tyres. But you are going to suffer some degradation on the medium tyres as well. So by laps 11 and 12, which will be your 5th and 6th laps on the medium tyres, you're going to see that performance start to drop off quite significantly, just like the soft tyres, which is going to lead to quite an interesting end to the race, because whether you're finishing the race on the softs or the mediums, the way the kind of tyres degrade and the kind of performance should mean that they actually perform very similar towards the end of the race. So quite interesting aspect to this one. In terms of finishing time, we're looking at 19 minutes 30 or maybe about 19 minutes 20 for the aliens, but it's good to see another race up towards that 20-minute mark rather than sometimes around about 17 minutes that daily race C can sometimes be. Now, we did have a wee shot at an alternative strategy. I wanted to kind of just stretch these soft tyres, just see just how many laps I could get out of them. So I did 4 laps on the mediums, and then I was going to try 8 laps on the soft tyres with some tyre saving. Now, 8 laps was a little bit beyond the tyres, even with some fairly significant tyre saving, but 7 laps was definitely a possibility. meaning the undercut is possible. Now, something new on these guides is something I've wanted to add in for a wee while, but this is the first time I'm kind of testing out, and that is a little bit of a test run on the pad. Now, obviously I used the wheel, and a lot of the information I then put out in terms of these videos is in reference to what I'm discovering on the wheel. But yeah, I know a lot of people are still playing on the pad, so I kind of wanted to do a wee test on the gamepad and see how many laps I could get on the soft tyres. Now, you will have to forgive my driving. I'm about 2.5 seconds off my wheel pace here, but I just wanted to see if I could get 6 laps out of the soft tyres. Now, maybe the fact that I'm going so slow means this is not exactly how a good gamepad player will find it, but there's no way I'm kind of doing much tyre saving here by going slow, because I'm all over the place. I'm sliding the back end out all over the place, and even at that I was still able to get the 6 laps out of the soft tyres, albeit with worse tyre wear than I did have on the wheel. But yeah, you should be able to get those 6 laps out the soft tyres on the pad. If not, you will be looking at 5 laps. But that's pretty much it for the elements of the strategy. Let's move on to the section of the video where we discuss all the strategy options, and I give you my kind of pros and cons for each one. So first up, we've got the 5 soft, 7 medium strategy. Now, most people should be able to avoid using this, but if you are really bad on tyres, then it is at very least an option for you. Next up, 6 soft, 6 medium. I'd say this is the optimal strategy if you're starting in pole position. You can use the soft tyres to run away from the rest of the pack. Most people will be starting on medium tyres, and the problem you're going to have with this strategy is you do happen to start behind a medium runner. Next up, 7 soft, 5 medium. So you can use this strategy if you're good on tyres. You're going that little bit further into the race, and you can get a little bit of clean air and maybe kind of get like an overcut of sorts. Next up, 6 medium, 6 soft. Likely to be the most popular strategy out there. Starting from anywhere below P4, I would recommend starting on the medium tyres. Gives you the optimal tyre performance for the race, but there is no undercut potential with this strategy. That is the downside of it. Next up, 5 medium, 7 soft. So you can use this strategy if you're good on tyres, because you're going to have to do 7 laps on the soft tyres, and it does give you an undercut potential on other medium starters. And lastly, we have 4 medium, 8 soft. Big undercut potential. You must save the tyres from the get-go on the softs, and you will be very vulnerable last lap. Probably out of reach of most people doing this strategy, but it is there if you happen to be an absolute twinkle toes. But that's pretty much it here. The kind of key to this one is going to be try and find some clean air to make the potential of your soft tyres count. You're going to have a little bit of dirty air in there. It's a hard track to overtake on at the very, even before you take all that into account. So yeah, making the most of your soft tyres is going to be the key to getting good results in this one. That's pretty much it for the strategy. I think we've covered just about everything that we need to. Let's finish off as always with a lap guide. We're coming on to the start finish straight here. We're in the Lexus RCF from Group 2, the 2016 model of course. Coming down towards turn 1, you are looking for the 100 metre board. Now you can brake just after the 100 metre board. There is an orange flash on the barrier as well. Turn 1 is off camber, so do be careful of that. It's hard to overtake around the outside there as well. Coming down to turn 2, you're looking for the grey path or the orange flash on the left hand side. Down into third gear, throw in. Use the potential and the grip of the tyres and the downforce. Third gear through here, end of the curb on the right hand side, down into second gear if you want to save a little bit of tyres. Power out here, and then we're coming up to a very fast left hander. Use the curb just on the right hand side, there's your kind of turn in point, and then you just want to make sure you do not run wide and onto the grass there. If you clip the grass, you probably will speed off to the left hand side and have a rather embarrassing accident. Now there's 3 marker boards down the right hand side for this hairpin. You're looking for the second one. Be careful on the brakes though, because if you do try to go too deep in there, you will go off into the gravel. And you're looking for the 50 metre board for the super fast downhill off camber right hander. Just before there, you need to carry a lot of commitment through that corner, but again, a very, very dangerous corner. Now into the tricky third sector. It's just all about getting the car on the right piece of the racetrack here. If you find yourself slightly offline coming through this sector, it tends to kind of just put you offline very slightly for every corner, and you just see the temps start to disappear. And coming into the last corner, look for that path on the right hand side. Once you see that, tends to be a good sign that you can power out of the last corner back onto the start finish straight. But that's our lap guide of Autopolis International Long Course in the Lexus RCF Group 2. Hopefully the video and the lap has been useful in some way, shape or form. I'm quite looking forward to this one. I always like a little bit of Group 2. I am disappointed we're going to Autopolis once again, but it has kind of ignited a little bit of an idea of a video in my head, so look out for that maybe this week or next week. But yeah, we'll definitely be live streaming this one a number of times. At least we can use some different cars as well, even if it's just the 3 2016 cars that are going to be competitive. They all do look like they are usable, so do join me for some live streams over the course of the week if you can. We will be doing the GTWS as well. Come and say hello in the chat, you'll find it a friendly place. But as I said, if the video's been useful, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.